tunes be going a little something like this. Hit it!
Top-Wheels Entertainment. The time is now.
You don't have a real budget to do a TV network. How you gonna build a TV network? And one thing about me is I put my mind to something, I just do it. I don't care. Yeah, everything. I purposely try to do the unachievable. Because I know if I don't succeed, I'll probably still be way up here opposed to everyone else who's shooting down here. So I decided I'm gonna create my TV network. So we launched. I looked into Roku. We launched on Roku first. And 2 million households at that point. Now it's an 8 million, over 8 million in 2 years. Went to Yamgo, 35 million households throughout Europe. SPB, 27 million households throughout Russia. Just had a brand new deal yesterday to put some 40 million more households throughout Europe, Middle East, Korea, and US, which I haven't officially announced yet. And I have a couple new deals on the table too. So the strategy that I think, which is independent film and music entertainment, is to not just take my content, but my friends' content, who have great content and can't find a way to put their stuff out. This gives me an opportunity. So now, Humag TV, I'm FCC regulated, so if someone gives me a really good music video that has curses in it and it's not a thing I can put on my Humag TV, I can now put it on iFame TV and still get a large reach without having to be on the actual FCC regulated channel. And I can just put a video up without making a whole show, or an interview. An interview may not fit the Humag format. So it gives me an opportunity to put it up and quicker than waiting to put a show and put it together. So we have movies on there. A lot of movies, a lot of TV shows, specials, concerts, music videos, interviews, a lot of cool stuff. And I really don't think there's anyone out there that has as large as a collection of content as we do. But there's other shows that have a large collection of shows. We have a variety of shows and individual things as well too. So we're really growing fast.
That's cool. So where are you looking to go next with Humag TV as opposed to iFame TV, or are they both headed in the same direction?
Well, Humag, the difference with the channel and the show, show I can put on other people's networks. Okay. For example, other people air Humag too, which aren't just mine. Like Punch TV airs in 30 cities across the U.S. on broadcast. So now their networks are picking up too. So here, you can take the show, but the network, if you want, certain other programs that aren't mine, you have to pick up the network. So it's kind of like a strategy. I'd rather get the network in so we can control the content. But if not, we're good to separate with the programs because we still get our people on the programs to promote it throughout somebody else's outlet. So they grow together, but they grow apart too. But they're still kind of in the same molds where if I'm going to do an interview with somebody, I can put it on both. It may not always be on Humag TV, but it can always be on iFame. And if it's good enough, you can get it on Humag TV as well too.
So who was your I want to say favorite interview?
So this is a weird question because a lot of people have asked me this question, and they look at my list of people I've interviewed like, oh my God, was Katy Perry, was it Pitbull, was it Sean Alexander from the Seahawks, was it this person? And one day I sat back and I said, I don't think I did it yet. I said, I don't think I did my best interview yet. And I said, you know what? If I had to choose what my favorite interview would be, as a kid, my favorite record growing up was Jam On It by Nucleus. So I said, that probably would be my favorite interview. So I thought about it that day. I went home and I Googled Cosmo D and Chili B from Nucleus, and I found JamOnProductions.com, which is Cosmo's site. Hit him up. He's like, yeah, come on up, man. I'm in Brooklyn. So I went up to Brooklyn, me and my camera guy. Like an hour-and-a-half interview. And it was, to me, it's like, a lot of people miss the important questions. Wiki is a whole concept. It's not just the words in the song. There's a whole story behind the wikis. There's a whole story about Jam On It, the name, and Jam On Productions was a DJing company, and how Nucleus and names created, and there's so many stories within that group. And it was my favorite interview hands down. And I remember after we left, I remember it was snowy that day in Brooklyn, and Chili B drove us back to our car, and I think it was like 4 months later, Chili B passed. He passed on. So, but even Cosmo, I had a big birthday bash a month ago, and Cosmo came down, and it was probably one of my greatest moments of my life was that my man DJ Bishop, who DJs my events, played the jam on the video with his VJs, and me and Cosmo, I was playing Chili V, Cosmo was doing Cosmo, and Lady E was singing the hook, because, you know, I was performing with Nucleus, and it was, to me, like, oh man, this is like a dream come true when I was a little kid, so little things like that, I don't know, it's like I can drop names all day, but things like that, like J. Rita Damager, like these, more of like what I was brought up on was more important than some of the bigger ones. And not disrespect to the bigger ones, like Pitbull gave me a great interview. I mean, some people give me great interviews, don't get me wrong. But as a personal hip-hop fan, an old school fan, I mean, these are the ones that kind of get me a little more excited.
So what made you really get into, what about hip-hop just said, hey, I need to get this out here?
I was a weirdo kid. Not giving my age away, but I was in grade school when I first heard hip-hop, and I think it might have been 3rd grade, and I didn't meet anyone that listened to hip-hop until 7th grade. And that was when LL Cool J first came out. So then after that, Beastie Boys came out when I was in 8th grade. So my black friends didn't like hip-hop. No one knew what it was in the area. And the hip-hop was so, I heard it because I had a little Radio Shack radio, and I just happened to come across Power 99. I listened to a street beat, Lady B. I'm like, oh my God, what's this music? And because hip-hop wasn't even big in Philly. So I used to go to talk to my mom and go into the Pensacola Mart, which was down the street, and buy baseball cards from my brother. But I was always go to the record store, and there'll be like one hip-hop record that'll come out every 2 or 3 weeks. There'll be one record. Now it's like music everywhere, but I remember I would save my lunch money. I'd pocket it all and save it up and buy records. And I had a love for it. And it's weird, and everyone thought I was this weird kid because I had these hip hop records and nobody understood what it was. So it just, I never listened to a Def Leppard or Led Zeppelin, or, you know, I never listened to anything music most people my age listened to growing up. I was always into Grandmaster Flash and Africa Bambaataa and Nucleus and UTFO, and these, as a little kid, it's like weird. Because like if you met a kid at my age at that time, even nowadays they don't listen to a lot of stuff. You know, I was just a weird kid, and that's always been the way I've been.